All right, good morning, friends. In reading this week, we're going to talk about the main idea of a story. That means, and we talked about this when we were in the classroom, that when we read a story, if the author were to come in and sit down right next to us, remember we said if the author would come in our classroom door and say to you, what was the big idea? What was the most important thing about the story I just wrote? Okay, and when we answer that question, what we're doing is we're answering the main idea of a story. And a good reader makes sure they understand the main idea of a story so that the story makes more sense to them and that they're able to walk away learning something from that story. So for example, when we read this story, This Is the Way We Go to School, we read about all the different ways that children go to school. So the main idea of that story, or of this story, was that children all around the world go to school different ways. So if the author, Miss Bear, came into our classroom and said, "What's the big idea of my story?" we would say to her, "Well, you taught us about how children all around the world take all different ways to go to school." Okay, so this week we're going to be focusing on the main idea of a story. What is that big idea that the author wants you to understand after you read the story? We're going to practice a little bit today with a quick little story, and it's called The Best Nest. And what I want you to be thinking about as you listen to the story is, what is the most important idea in this story? The best nest. What is the important idea in this story? What does the author want you to take away or to understand from this story? Okay, so listen carefully. The best nest. In spring, Mama and Papa Robin look for a safe, high spot to build their nest. Often they choose a tree. Then they start to gather their building materials. First, Mama and Papa Robin make a bed of strong materials. They fly back and forth carrying twigs and leaves and grass in their beaks. They may also bring string, paper, or plastic. And they weave these materials together to make a little teeny tiny cup. And they may use mud to glue things together. The inside lining of the nest must be warm and cozy for the babies. The robins use soft grasses, thistledown, feathers, spider webs, or sheep's wool. Mama Robin lays pale blue eggs in the finished nest. This will be the home for the babies until they fly away. Now, I'm going to have you pause for a second, because actually I'm not even going to have you pause. I'm going to take you with me through the kitchen, because I just realized Mr. Rooney found something the other day in our yard that is perfect. And I'm going to actually take you outside to get it. So hold on, we're going on a little field trip. All right. I'm going to take you outside. And if you look, this was up in our tree and it fell down. Look what it is. It's a real bird's nest. Look at how they built that with the mud down below. And then they weaved those things all together to make a little cup inside. Isn't that really cool? Can you see it well? And look at the leaves on it and everything. This, Mr. Rooney found it in the yard the other day. It had been up in one of the trees, and I guess they were all done with it and it dropped out. But isn't it, it's actually very heavy too. I was surprised by how heavy it is. But isn't that beautiful? So it's a real live nest. Isn't that cool? I'm going to put it right back there out in my window box that hasn't been filled with flowers yet. All right, so if I think about the story, The Perfect Nest, why do you think, what was the main idea of that story? What was the big idea? What did the author want you to understand about that story? Well, let's think about it. The author told you what all Mama and Papa Robin were collecting, right? They told you all the materials. They told you how hard they were working to put it together, okay? Why were they doing all that? Why is this so important that they were doing all this? Very good. They were preparing the nest for the little baby birds because this is the nest that they were going to live in until they flew away. So the main idea, or the big idea, is how the mama and papa robin work together to build a good nest for their baby birds. And then on top of that, we got to see a real live nest, which was very cool. I didn't even realize that that was going to happen this week, so that was really exciting. All right, so this week, when we read our story about beavers, we're going to be focusing on what is the main idea of the story. What does the author want us to understand? So in The Perfect Nest, it was that Mama and Papa Robin were working hard to build a nest for their baby birds that were going to be born, right? Because she just put the eggs in there, all right? So that's going to be an important thing that we're working on this week, and that's an important thing for us to understand as readers in whatever we read, that we understand the main idea, okay? All right, today we just read that story about Mama and Papa Robin. Have you ever seen a nest? You can answer that as yes, because I just showed you a real live bird's nest, right? Okay. What kind of birds have you seen before? Maybe bluebirds, cardinals, teeny tiny little birds. And remember my birds, my birdhouse in the front yard where the hole was really like dug out because I had some really big birds that were trying to fit into that little teeny tiny hole. All right, so when I say things like, have you seen a nest? Or what kind of birds have you seen? I'm asking you a question, right? I'm looking for an answer. So those are asking sentences. Now, if I say something like, I have seen a bluebird, I'm telling you something that I've seen before, okay? Or if I say, I have a bird's nest at my house, I'm telling you something. That's my sentence. I'm telling you something. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the difference between asking and telling sentences, okay? So when I use an asking sentence, that's a question. I'm asking you a question and I'm looking for an answer. When I say, I have a bird's nest at my house, I'm telling you something. So that's called a telling sentence. And today what we're going to do is we're going to practice telling, or not telling, figuring out, identifying which is an asking sentence and which is a telling sentence, okay? All right. So if I say, what is your name? I'm asking you a question, right? That's an asking sentence. If I say, the lion roars loudly, I'm telling you about the lion, right? So today we're going to talk about, like I said, asking and telling. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, when I use an asking sentence, I put a sign at the end of that asking sentence. Do you remember what that sign is? A question mark, right? So, a question mark. And at the end of a telling sentence, we always say we add a what at the end of a sentence? A period, right? So I'm going to put that right there. All right. So what I've done is I have on my board, and I'm going to lift you up some so you can see it. Okay. I have asking and telling. Okay. Asking and telling. All right. I'm going to say a sentence, and you're going to tell me whether we're going to go to the asking or telling, okay? So here's the first one. Do you like the rain? Do you like the rain? If I'm saying, do you like the rain, I'm doing what? I'm asking you a question. So I'm going to put, do you like the rain, under the asking side. If it's an asking question, what kind of punctuation, what do I have to put at the end of it? I need to put a question mark, right? Do you like the rain? Okay. How about this one? I see a rainbow. Am I asking you something or am I telling you something? Very good. I am telling you something. And at the end of a telling sentence, I use a period. Very good. All right. How about this one? I want to fly a kite. I want to fly a kite. Am I asking you something or telling you something? I'm telling you. Very good. I want to fly a kite. So that is going to go on my telling side. Very good. Okay, and what kind of punctuation do I put at the end of that? Very good. I just put a period. Oh, turn it that way so it's right. All right, how about this next one? Will you play with me? Will you play with me? I'm asking a question. That's an asking one, right? Will you play with me? Okay. Will you play with me? And what am I going to put at the end of that? I'm going to put a question mark. Very good. All right, how about one more? The sun feels warm. The sun feels warm. Am I asking you or am I telling you? I'm telling you. I'm telling you that the sun feels warm. Good. Okay. So there it is. The sun feels warm. Okay. And what do I put at the end? I put a period. Very good. The sun feels warm. All right. How about one more? Where is my kite? Am I telling you something or am I asking you something? Where is my kite? Very good. I'm asking you. Okay, so I'm going to put that on my asking. Where is my kite? And I'm going to say, and what kind of thing, what do we put at the end of where is my kite if I'm asking a question? Very good. I'm going to put my question mark. Very good. All right. So we are working on asking and telling sentences. What I would like you to do is go ahead and get your worksheet, okay? And it says pretty punctuation, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to pause. I want you to cut out your 5 punctuations down here. The period, the question mark, the period, the question mark, and the question mark. And what we're going to do is we're going to read the sentences and then we're going to put the right punctuation in, okay? For whether it's an asking or a telling sentence, okay? So I'm going to pause while you get your scissors and get your glue and something to write with for your name, okay? All right, go ahead. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work on putting the right punctuation at the end of our sentences. And I'm just going to remove this. Okay, so you should have your paper. Okay, I'm going to take mine right up there so you can see it. All right, you should have your paper. All right, and glue and your punctuations cut out, okay? All right, let's go to the first sentence. All right, the first sentence says, I like to jump in the puddles. I like to jump in the puddles. Am I asking you or am I telling you that I like to jump in the puddles? Very good, I'm telling you. And what do we put at the end of a telling sentence? Very good. So you're gonna put a dot of glue and you're going to put the period at the end, okay? All right, next one. Is it going to rain? Is it going to rain? Am I asking you if it's going to rain or am I telling you it's going to rain? Is it going to rain? I'm asking you that question. So what do we put at the end when I'm asking you something? Very good. So you're going to put a dab of glue and put your question mark for, is it going to rain? Asking a question. All right, so the next one, I'm going to say it. I'm going to pause it while you put the correct punctuation. Where are my rain boots? Where are my rain boots? Is that an asking or is that a telling sentence? Where are my rain boots? Okay, you pick the right punctuation and glue it on. All right, it was a question. Very good. Where are my rain boots? All right, next one. I love spring. Question or telling? I love spring. Are you asking or are you telling? Which are you doing? All right, I'm going to pause. You put your right punctuation on. We put a period, right? I love spring. You're telling. All right, last one. All right. Do you like spring? Do you like spring? Question or telling? Do you like spring? I'm going to pause. You put the right punctuation. Do you like spring? Very good. Asking a question, so it should be a question mark. All right, my friends, excellent job with asking and telling sentences today. And I'm going to tell you that I'm looking forward to seeing you later. Bye, friends.